Yo, what is up guys, it's me Eve again here playing Tokyo Ghoul Break the Chains. In today's video, we're gonna talk about the assistance on the characters, something like this. Who are you gonna be putting assistance, how does it work, and all of the small details about assistance that you might not actually know if you didn't pay attention enough when you were choosing assistance. This was a request from one of the comments on under my videos. The person asked if what should I be picking as my assistants and can I do a video on that. And of course we're gonna try to do that, as well as if you want to also know some information that can't be told in one or two sentences, you can obviously go into Discord, in our Discord, and ask it there, or you can ask me in the comments under the video as well if you want to get a guide on something. So let's take a look at the most basic information about the assistants. For example, once you put on when you lock in on one of the characters, you can obviously see what the benefits of using this character are once he's going to be an assistant. So you can see the current, for example, I'm picking here the Teen Hinami. In Teen Hinami has the attack, almost 5k here, 4.5k on the defense, and 95k on the HP. So this is her basic stats. This is the stats that you're gonna get in here once you put her in assistance, right? So for example, if currently we don't have anything here, it's gonna be 52k, for example, on defense. By adding the Teen Hinami here, you're gonna see that this is now 57k. Okay, so this is the stats that are gonna be applied once you put the character onto them. So now with this, you know how to use the stats here. How do they apply in here? Next thing is assistance. So this is where you are gonna get your increase in basic stats as well. Increases the corresponding displayed character's basic stats by 10% based on the assistance character's basic stats. Okay, so it's gonna be increasing it. For each additional star rating of the characters, the percentage of basic stats provided increased by 1%. So if the character has less, you see that, for example, Ute here, or my Ute is only on 3 stars, so you can see the percentage here changes for 7% compared to a full-on D character that is 6 star, is gonna have a 10%. But again, be sure to know that if it doesn't matter if you have a character on D or on Triple S, they don't have any changes into what they're gonna be having. Do you have any more stuff or no? They're all gonna be based on 10% at max. The only difference is gonna be obviously the stars. The more stars you have, the better the assistant percentage is gonna be. But also, there is some characters that have the assistance abilities, like for example Shu. This is a specific character that has on his 3rd star, he has the abilities like effective also in assistance. So this is very special characters. There's a few of them, we're going to talk about them as well, but Shu is the main one because he is the exchange character, easy to get, also easy to Triple S as well. This is the assistance ability that he has. Increases HP related stats by 15% when each turn starts. Grant yourself a shield equal to 30% of your lost HP for 1 turn. So he is, these ones are only available once they're in the assistance. Also, it's available on them or on those characters as well when they're on the field themselves. But usually you use the assistance characters mostly only for the sake of assistance. So you don't play, for example, no one plays Mr. M on the field because he's not that great of a character compared to some other characters, but he's a really good assistance character, as well as he's free. So he's one of the best assistance characters in the game. Other than him, there's also Pet Boy Juzo, who's also an assistance character. I think I will need to find him. Here, wait, where was he? Where's the Juzo? Okay, here. So this guy also has an assistance ability. You can see it here. This is his ability, assistance. Taking damage, heal for 20% of the damage taken when your turn starts, reduces all enemies' defense by 10% for 2 turns, stacking up to 2 times. But that's also a really, really good assistance ability. There's also another two characters that also have it. Is going to be Half Anniversary Amon, who has his third ability here, so also available in assistance. And there's also another one, the Yukara Ayato, who also has that ability in here. So all of the assistance characters are obviously gonna be the best assistance characters that you could possibly ask for, because they not only give you an increase in basic stats, but they are also, all of them are gonna be giving you the buffs for assistance. Unfortunately, there's only obviously only 4 of them, but again, to be honest, the backup character is in the backup, so you're either way not gonna get yourself much of a help from the backup character most of the time, only if your team is wiped, and then there's the last character, and you're most likely gonna lose either way, because most of the backup characters are pretty shite, and they're like not like really a damage dealers. They're basically for the backup only for that sake. But this is the 4 best assistant characters that you can get. But again, you might not see this on everyone. Not everyone uses all 4 of them, because this is extremely hard to do, especially for free-to-play players. Free-to-play players are going to have a lot of problems with getting these characters. Again, Petboy Juzo probably is all right to get. The Mr. M is easy to get. And then the problems are going to have with these 2, because those 2 requires a star up to get them. So you can't get any version of them for free. They're not banner characters, they are event characters that were available only with fragments. For free-to-plays, getting them high up is also really high. But also, be sure to know that their overall CP is going to be much more lower than those other characters that have a much higher CP basic stat. So for example, Uta, who is a carnival character, is obviously going to have a much higher CP in backup than other characters. For example, let's try comparing them. So let's say the new Ken here, as you can see, 6k. Okay, we can see it here. So if we remove him, my current CP is 1,054,000. Let's do it 55, right? 55 with Ken. If we're gonna put the Ken here, he's a 2-star, so he doesn't have a full on yet. This is gonna be 63k. So now, if for example we pick someone like, let's say, this guy here, so the Shu, Carnival Shu, I have a 61k, and he's only one star less, so he's a 1-star. Now let's try putting the Uta here as well. He's a 65. So for example, if we try putting another, look, as you can see here, 65k 407, compared to, for example, Amon, who's also 3 stars. He's a little bit higher, but this is because he has more basic stats currently, because of the god cells that I'm using on him, because I have more better god cells on him. So this is going into the other stuff that you need to know when you're putting the assistance characters. The assistant characters' god cells do matter as well. So if you're using a character in a backup, you need to have a good god cells on them as well. So this is the most important stats that you need on characters, is having the attack, HP related stats, and defense, because those are going to be buffing your stats that you see when you are trying to put an assistance character, like here. They're going to be buffing these ones. So to demonstrate it, let's say Ol here, right? Ol currently has a 102k. So if we go into him, I have the god cell, let's say, right? This has a 4 basic stats for the HP. If I remove it, now we'll go back, and now you can see that his HP stat went really much more lower than it was previously. It was 100k, now it's only 86. So your assistant characters also needs to have the cells here. Cells do determine how much buffs you are gonna get for that specific character, for their basic stats in here as well. So this is another thing that you should be noticing. So not only characters that are gonna have the better basic stats or CP are gonna be needing here, but also the character you need to worry about their RC cells as well. So this is another thing that you need to be worrying about. So once you get through this, obviously the basic stats CP also matters. The better the basic CP is on the character, the stronger CP is gonna be. So for example, if you're gonna be, let's say, using someone like, again, you can see yourself, Mr. M doesn't have the greatest CP. Bad Boy Juzo also, he's obviously much better, but also not like a crazy or some like insane CP advantage compared to someone like, for example, Jason, or for example, someone like Uta, who's a #1 CP, obviously. So that's also a big difference in terms of your assistance characters. So the better basic stats of the character are, the better your CP is gonna be. And in current meta, we're now currently rolling around the fact that the CP matters the most. So all of the most important stuff is CP in current meta. So because of that, even though the assistance characters, any assistant character is going to be better than anyone else, it doesn't matter, just because the fact that these buffs are applied to your main character is already a much more bigger difference compared to any other. Doesn't matter what type of CP. Even if you're, for example, if you compare this Mr. M to Uta, this Mr. M is going to be better because he has this ability. But the CP advantage requires you to have him, for example, this Uta as the backup, as the assistance here, because that Uta has more CP than Mr. M. That's the difference. So in terms of CP, obviously the best are going to be Carnival characters. Carnival characters has a shit ton of CP. Like their CP, like their basic stats overall are extremely high and much higher than any other character. So you can see for yourself again here, this is overall strafe rank. This is the basic stats of all of the characters. So you have the attack stat for defense, HP, CP, all of that on Uta, for example, are huge. Everything on this Arima is extremely big. Everything on Jason is extremely big. With all also has everything on really high ends, except maybe for defense, but still that's a really high stuff. Maybe a little bit of older characters like Ogos Arima, who's like literally the first character on Break the Chains. That's why his stats are a little bit lower. But there's also characters like, let's say, Sachi, who also has a very big basic stats for attack. So that's also good for putting it on the characters that you need the basics to increase on the attack side. So this is how it basically looks with what type of characters you should be using in assistance. Is if you want a big CP, you need to use Carnival characters, as well as you need to have their gut like cells. If they have the gut cells, you need to have the gut cells on them. If you want to use the most efficient way, like the best you can provide, but you're gonna be losing a little bit of the CP advantage. But if you're obviously, if you're really certain that you can be having advantage without needing to have the Carnival characters as in here as a CP stats, then you can go for all of the assistance characters like Mr. M, Bad Boy Juzo again. All of those characters, you can just use them like that without needing to worry about this. So this is how you basically want to create your assistance section. Other than that, hopefully you liked the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, as well as join in the Discord. I always post notifications for the streams and videos in there as well, so you don't miss anything. Also, you can tune in for the streams, because I do try to stream every day. Obviously, sometimes because of the work, I can't do it. But I do try to do it. At least we always do streams every few days, or at least every other day. I still try to do that without skipping too many days between the streams. So hopefully you will tune in as well for those, and hopefully you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.